Today, my brothers and sisters, we need to address a very important issue that concerns the whole ummah, that unites the ummah of Islam, ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have seen the recent events in the last week, what has happened in Gaza and in Palestine, as has been happening for the last 75 years plus. The illegal occupation, the apartheid state, which continues to take land from our brothers and our sisters in Palestine, with a green light and approval and a thumbs up from Western governments, full support, financial support and military support. And in times like this, we need to remember that we are one ummah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يقول Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. Indeed, the believers are nothing but brothers. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. Indeed, the believers are nothing but brothers. We are from the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, Al-Muslim lil-Muslim kal-bunyan. يُشُدُّ بَعْضُهُمْ بَعْضًا. The Muslim for another Muslim is like a building, like a structure. They support one another. This is our deen. This is part of our muqaddasat. This is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the night prayer, and led all of the Anbiya in Salah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala tells in Surah Isra, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Subhana alladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan min al-masjid al-harami ila al-masjid al-aqsa alladhi barakna hawlah linuriyahu min ayatina innahu huwa as-sami' al-basir. Glory be to Allah, glory be to Him who made His servant travel by night from the haram, from the sacred place of worship to the furthest place of worship, Masjid al-Aqsa, whose surroundings we are blessed, whose surroundings alladhi barakna hawlah linuriyahu min ayatina, for us to show Him from our signs. Innahu huwa as-sami' al-basir. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is all hearing and all seeing. The Prophet ﷺ also told us, as a report from Nu'man ibn Bashir رضي عنهما, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مثل المؤمنين في توادهم مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم مثل الجسد ومثل الجسد إذا اشتكى منه عضوا تداعى له سائر الجسد من السهر والحمى. The likeness and the similitude of the believers is like one body. Where one of the limbs suffers in pain, the whole body suffers in response to it in its wakefulness and its weakness and its fever. This is the body. We feel the pain of the believers. We feel the pain of the Palestinians. We feel the pain of the Afghanis. We feel the pain of the Gambians. We feel the pain of the Sudanese. We feel the pain of the Kashmiris. We feel the pain of the Kurdish people. We feel the pain of every people on this planet because we are Muslims. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. This is what ties us together. And if you look at the Palestinian issue, كما تسمى القضية الفلسطينية, the Palestinian issue, it began كقضية إسلامية, قضية إسلامية. It was an Islamic issue, an Islamic matter. And من قضية إسلامية انتقلت من قضية فلسطينية. And from the Islamic issue, the media and the international community tried to fool us into believing this is only a Palestinian issue. أو قضية عربية. وليس بقضية عربية ولا فلسطينية. هي قضية الأمة. قضية الأمة الإسلامية. This is an issue that concerns the whole ummah, the whole Muslim ummah. It is not a Palestinian issue. ولا قضية إنسانية, not even a human rights issue. This is an issue that concerns the whole ummah, which actually includes all of what these titles I have given us and these new labels. ليس قضية عربية ولا فلسطينية ولا إنسانية. هي قضية إسلامية, قضية المسلمين, for all the believers. This is where your salawat, in one narration, it is تعديل 500 صلاة أو 1000 صلاة. It equates to 500. In another narration, 1000 salah. This is where the Prophet ﷺ also told us that you can make umrah to the masjid, في المسجد الحرام in Mecca from Al-Quds. And you have a great reward in doing so. So do not be fooled by the duplicity, the lies and the hypocrisy in the media. Many brothers and sisters become so angry, and of course we're going to be angry. But don't be surprised. Why are you so surprised? The state, the illegal apartheid state of Israel was created in this country. Educate yourself, brothers and sisters. It's the Balfour Agreement in 1917. They literally gifted it to the Jews of Europe. The Jews of Europe, who the Europeans themselves called the Jewish problem. The Europeans themselves, after the Holocaust, they are the ones that massacred them, subhanallah. A disgusting event. It wasn't the Muslims. It wasn't the Palestinians. But the Palestinians had to pay the price. So you're looking and you complain to the British, you complain to the Americans, to the United States, who are providing more weapons, billions and billions, right now as we speak. Full support for the last 75 plus years. That's like a mother going to the drug dealer, complaining about why is my son on drugs, and the drug dealer's one that sold her son the drugs. Who are you complaining to? We complain to Allah first. إِنَّمَا أَشْكُو بَثِّي حُزْنِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. Indeed, I only complain and make my complaint and my sadness to Allah. So the first thing we need to do is make dua. You make dua as much as you can. And don't be surprised by this country and the hypocrisy that we've seen with this country concerning Ukraine and Russia. All the examples have been given. So many brothers and sisters, so many people have been interviewed. And you can highlight the hypocrisy. You can highlight the double standards, the duplicity. Illogical, does not make sense. And the answer is to now bomb innocent people in Gaza, as they've been doing. You're dealing with narcissists. You're dealing with people with mental health problems. As I say, they can't see the wood for the trees. You can argue all day long. They will not accept it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a seal on their hearts. خَتَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ. Allah has made a seal on their hearts. They will never understand. Because this is the last remaining colonial project, the European colonial project that remains in the Middle East, in Sharq al-Awsat. This is the last project. So they're trying their hardest to hold on to it, even though it's a failed project. وَالنَّصْرُ قَرِيبٌ inshaAllah ta'ala. And victory to the Muslims is close inshaAllah ta'ala. We have to have sabr. We have to have sabr inshaAllah ta'ala. And we make dua, as much dua as we can, for the Muslims of Palestine in every part of the world. And remember, this is not a Palestinian issue. This is not a human rights issue only. It is a human rights issue, but not exclusively. It is not an Arab-Israeli issue as they try to fool us. It's not an issue of the UN. This is an Islamic issue concerning all the Muslim nations. Baydatul Islam. This is our first qibla, all al-qiblatayn, our first qibla. And whoever harms a believer harms us. This is the power of the ummah. This is the power. Al-Muslimu lil-Muslimi kal-bunyan. Yushuddu ba'duhum ba'da. The Muslim for another Muslim is like a structure, a building. They support each other. So don't be fooled by what they're telling us, my brothers and sisters. We have to be smart in how we think. We have to be very smart. And there's an old English saying, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. To you, they're terrorists. To someone else, they're freedom fighters. Mahatma Gandhi was regarded as a terrorist. Now he's celebrated in British history in their books at secondary schools. They teach about Mahatma Gandhi. And they hated him because of the civil disobedience. Do you think the British Empire wanted to give up India? Do you think the British Empire wanted to give up the East Indian Company and the money? The founding fathers of the United States were regarded as terrorists. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, etc., etc. The British government said they are terrorists because they broke away from the British colonies. And they wanted independence. And now what do we have today? We have the United States, 50 states, and they wanted independence. And they got it. And the British called them terrorists. But today, the British and Americans are best friends. That's history. Read your history, brothers. Read your history. Nelson Mandela, they celebrate today Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was regarded as a terrorist. He took up arms, in fact, against the apartheid state and the apartheid government of South Africa. the racism that we saw and they experienced. Then he was locked up for 27 years on Roby Island, then released. And now the whole world celebrates him as a man of peace. A man of peace. And even Nelson Mandela, when he spoke about the Palestinian issue and visited Palestine, he said, this is just like the apartheid of South Africa. If not worse. Right now they're bombing and killing children. No one is spared. Hospitals are targeted. The UN buildings are targeted. UNRWA. Yeah? What is left? Hospitals have been absolutely desecrated, absolutely destroyed by the bombs. And what do you expect from a group of people when you keep them in a cage in a prison for 75 years? You think they're not going to react? You suffocate them in the largest open-air prison, I quote, by the former President of the United States, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter visited Palestine. He called Gaza himself the largest open prison in the world. Nothing comes in, nothing comes out, unless Israel says so. And every time they call Muslims and Palestinians, every time, even Hamas, all types of words they're using, child killers, and this and that and the other. We don't support Hamas. We support the Palestinian movement. Even the PLO regarded as terrorists by them. Even Yasser Arafat is regarded as terrorists by them. As soon as you stand up for your own land, your own people, but these people are bullies. Absolute bullies and cowards. Absolute cowards. انظر الجبان هؤلاء جبناء. They want to kill you, starve you, bomb you, desecrate you. This is ethnic cleansing. And if you even say a word out of protest, why are you doing this? Oh, be quiet, don't say anything. They can have they have the fourth, the third largest military in the world, nuclear weapons. What do Palestinians have? Slingshots? Hamas is just a small movement that came around recently. The majority of Palestinians don't have anything. And they use it as an excuse, as a scapegoat, to now kill more Palestinians. 7 to 8 million Palestinians, refugees live outside of Palestine. Since 1940, since the Nakba. How many Muslims live in this country? We need to think, how can we make an impact? If you want to protest. Take all the legal means necessary that are within the law to do so, to protest, to march, to protest, to write a letter to your MPs. And many people say, well, it will do nothing. It will do something. The Palestinian brothers and sisters, when they know that we are concerned about this qadiyah, this matter, this issue, like it's our own issue, wallahi, that builds confidence and morale. هذه ترفع معنوياتهم لما يروننا نحن نساندهم ونقف بجنبهم. So whatever way you can, you support them as much as you can, inshallah ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ told us as well, very important to remember. لا تزال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الحق ظاهرين لعدوهم قاهرين لا يضرهم من خالفهم أو من خذلهم إلا ما أصابهم إلا أواء حتى يأتيهم أمر الله وهم كذلك قالوا يا رسول الله وأين هم. The Prophet ﷺ told us there will continue to be a group of people from my ummah, my nation, that will be very apparent and open upon the truth, and they will overcome their enemy, and nothing harms them. Whoever goes against them, sells them out, nothing will harm them, no matter what befalls them, until the matter and affair of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes. And then the Sahaba asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وهم كذلك قالوا يا رسول الله, they said, oh, Ya Rasulullah, when hearing this, وأين هم? Where are they? Who are these people you're talking about? قال هم بالبيت المقدس ببيت المقدس وأكناف بيت المقدس. They in Bayt al-Maqdis and Aknaf Bayt al-Maqdis. Forget Hamas. No one's talking about Hamas here. We're talking about every single Palestinian that lives under this apartheid state in humiliation. Have had their homes taken from them. that have had their children locked up in prisons, 14, 13, 14, 15-year-olds in prison for months and months, have not seen their parents. Up to 6 months to a year, in fact. Women in prison. They are the ones that are supporting, they are the ones that are protecting Masjid al-Aqsa. Not just the men, the women. They speak about female rights, women rights. You can see right in front of you on the cameras, women getting humiliated. Women getting slapped by the IDF and the soldiers. None of these Western hypocrites talk about female rights then. Children's rights. Where are the children's rights when you see children being slapped and humiliated and killed? Right now as we speak, it's all on the TV live. Another bombardment by Israel. Every Ramadan, for how many years? Last Ramadan. At least 5, 6 Ramadans they've been doing every Ramadan. They pick Ramadan on purpose. But all of a sudden when they are asked about our children dying, Palestinian children dying, Muslim children dying, and women, and innocents, they become silent. You know why? Because to them, their blood has more worth than our blood. They're more important than we are. To them, we are fleas. We are not human. That's why they're always dehumanizing Muslims. That's why they're always dehumanizing the Palestinian cause. That's why when you read their papers on the BBC, Israelis have been killed, but the Palestinians have only died. No, the Palestinians have been killed and murdered due to the ethnic cleansing policy of the apartheid regime of Israel. The Palestinians have been killed and murdered, and this is ethnic cleansing. No doubt about it. These are war crimes that are happening right in front of us, and these people are doing nothing because they have their own interests. They have their own interests. سبحان الله. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بما فيه من آيات وذكر حكيم. عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم المسلم أخو المسلم لا يظلمه ولا يسلمه ولا في رواية لا يخذله ومن كان في حاجة أخيه كان الله في حاجته ومن فرج عن مسلما كربة فرج الله عنه بها كربة من كرب يوم القيامة وَمَنْ سَتَرَ مُسْلِمًا سَتَرَهُ اللَّهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. The Prophet ﷺ taught us and told us, as narrated by Ibn Umar, a Muslim is a brother of another Muslim. He neither wrongs him nor does he hand him over to one who does him wrong or abandon him. If anyone fulfills the need of his brother, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fulfill their needs on the day of judgment. If anyone relieves the stress of his Muslim brother, Allah will relieve his stress and troubles on the day of judgment. And if anyone covers up a Muslim in his sins, and Allah will cover up his sins on the day of judgment. This is the ukhuwah and the brotherhood, my brothers and sisters. Don't let them divide and conquer us as they have done. I'm not standing here as a British citizen or a Pakistani or an Arabi or a Kurdi or an African. No, I'm a Muslim first and last. Don't let them look at our skin colors and tell us we're different. This is what happened. This is how they carved our countries up. In a Sykes-Picot agreement, they literally pulled out a map. This is for France and this is for Britain. But it's because of the khiyana and the nifaq from the groups from our nation that we have lost what we have lost. So we should not blame anyone else. We don't blame Muslims. We don't blame Jews. We don't blame non-Muslims. We don't blame British. We blame ourselves. We have allowed this to happen. Because when a thief comes to your home and you open the door to that thief and say, please come inside, who's responsible? That's no one's fault but ourselves. So we got to take ownership and accept that. But we can do what we can right now, inshallah ta'ala. Yeah? We can do what we can right now and have sabr and remind everyone and each other. وَلَا تَهِنُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. And keep saying this verse and ayah. وَلَا تَهِنُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. And do not be faint-hearted and do not be sad. And do not be sad or weak. Indeed, you are and you will have the upper hand if you are truly believers. This is our sabr. وَإِنَّمَا الصَّبْرُ صَبْرُ سَاعَةٍ. As it is said, patience is indeed a patience of 1 hour. We can't imagine what our brothers and sisters are going through right now with the frightening circumstances they find themselves in. They've been regarded and called by the Israeli government and also the defense minister as human animals. No, the human animals are the ones that kill, maim, and massacre innocent women and children who are living in their homes, and then who go and take shelter in hospitals or UN buildings or schools. They are the animals. Not the Palestinians, not the Muslims, they are the animals. And it's not just the Muslims that support this cause. There are good, great non-Muslims that support this cause all over the world. There are in fact Jews that also support this cause. There are Jews that are against the state of Israel. And they are then called self-hating Jews. Allah bless them and guide them. Ameen. Alhamdulillah. Allah yahdina jami'an ya Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma ansur Islam wal Muslimin ya Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma ameen. May Allah help Islam and the Muslims ya Rabbil Alameen. So we can do what we can do and try our best. You have dua. You can do whatever protest you can within the legal framework of this country. You can write letters to the MP and complain. You can sign petitions. How many Muslim doctors do we have in this country? How many doctors have gone on strike right now because they're not getting paid what they think they should be getting paid? How many Muslim public servants are there? Do you think if every Muslim public servant, such as doctors and nurses, were to protest and boycott the NHS until the British government tells its little sister Israel to stop bombing and killing innocent Palestinian children, our mothers and fathers and our parents and brothers and sisters, do you think if our brothers and our doctors did that they will not take notice? Of course they're going to take notice. That's just one idea we can have. We can protest. We can also do civil disobedience. If Muslims were to get together, even in this country, and put pressure on the British government, who is selling and providing weapons and arms to its little sister Israel, we could put pressure on the government. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them scare us. We are more intelligent than them. We have Iman. Alhamdulillah, we have Iman. وَمَوْتَانَا فِي الْجَنَّةِ. The ones that have died amongst us in Jannah, inshallah ta'ala. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us guidance and strength and wisdom, and to stay calm at this time as much as we can, to do that which is within the legal means and remit for us to do as British citizens and as Muslims. Most importantly, we make dua and do whatever you can within the legal framework, I repeat, to protest, to demonstrate, to do whatever you can, write letters, share the videos. We can see it right in front of us. There's a genocide happening. It's live on Sky News, live on BBC, live on Al Jazeera. But when it's bombing, when these cowards bomb us from the sky, they think that's more humane than someone putting a knife in you. What's the difference? With one bomb that they drop, they kill thousands. More than 300 children have been killed right now. More than 300, and it's counting. They've also bombed the Rafah crossing. So they're not allowing anything to go in. I mean, which group of people say we're going to starve you to death? We're going to cut off your water, your food, your electricity. They are the animals. Remember, they are the animals. That's not a human being. That's sick. That's savagery. And this is open ethnic cleansing, and the world is doing nothing about it. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول أو عمل ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول أو عمل اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى يا رب العالمين آمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم انصر دينك وكتابك وعبادك الصالحين. اللهم انصر إخواننا وأخواتنا وأطفالنا وأولادنا في فلسطين يا رب العالمين. اللهم انصرهم يا رب العالمين. يا عزيز يا مقتدر يا رب العالمين. وهزم الأحزاب يا رب العالمين. يا سميع يا مجيب الدعاء يا رب العالمين.